received, and then reviewed at that time, and then we can go back to interview scheduling at that time. And again, of course, looking all the way forward, May 14th, potential announcement, again, another called meeting, the trustees, and then the 28th, potentially swearing in. So again, that's a very rough time frame.
Doctor, I just add one thing to it. You may say on April 23rd, that's when we also agreed to formulate the questions.
Oh, thank you. Yes, sir.
So that would be the only addition.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we did discuss that as well. That would be an opportunity, like I say, to refine, finalize questions in anticipation for interview process.
All right, Trustee Freeman?
April 23rd is our regular meeting.
Right.
So that's a lot on top of, I mean, if we start talking about questions and then reviewing, depending on, even if we have, I don't know, if we have 10, I'm just wondering if that's a lot added on top of a board meeting.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we said last time too, is people said they prefer that as opposed to adding an additional one. It's just, yeah.
Okay.
That was
The 23rd, we actually reviewed agenda items today. We'd like to start looking at TASB resolutions, and that could possibly go to the May meeting, but I believe we've got a suspense date of June 17th, if I'm not mistaken. So we were looking at least potentially providing some draft thoughts as to what resolutions could take shape in the month of May. Of course, the budget, fiscal year 25 budget, and then teacher administrative contracts coming forward that date. We'd also, like I say, with fiscal year 25, be looking at compensation. So there's some bookend items that are pretty important that we tackle. Like I say, it could be a longer meeting, but those are three that I know we discussed this morning.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions on the application timeline? Okay. Dr. Kraft? Sorry.
Okay, so I think, like I say, you've had the opportunity, or we can put it up on the screen as well. Here's the application form. Again, Kelly Rosti did, I think, a really pretty nice job of putting all the pertinent information, including all the pertinent information. It does have, obviously, a place for it to be notarized, which would entail the address check. Again, this is for your review, comment, concerns, anything that needs to be revised or addressed, opportunity to discuss.
Trustee Harrell.
Real quick, at the top, did it have what district? You know how it, this office saw, so we,
You would put place there.
trustee and then place, like it has when you apply for.
That's actually what it says on the Secretary of State form, but we can change it.
Well, then it must be on when we signed up, because there's a place,
Yeah.
because I remember having to look up, oh, it's not at large. This was like 12 years ago, but, maybe it's when we sign up to take the packet.
Oh,
Something
yes,
like
we
that.
do that.
Yeah.
But we can change this
If
any which way.
I'm just saying, if anyone else
Yeah.
sees
Oh, yeah.
that as something.
I think it'd be great for the new folks that don't know how to fill that out. That would give them like a guide. And I mean, we can even pre-fill that with it for
Yeah.
this one.
Oh,
We talked about that too, that we could just pre-fill it, because it's only
Yeah,
one, but
yeah.
if we need an evergreen form, this could exist, with that blank. So we can just have it pre-filled. Same
Yeah.
for District 2.
Okay.
Trustee Freeman.
On the application, it has, and I don't even know how you do this during an election cycle. The voter registration number optional, some of us, I have no idea what my voter registration number is. But you do have to be a registered voter. So what verification is there? Do we screen that?
No,
for-
this is totally optional on the Secretary of State form too, so it doesn't have to be on here. My thought process for adding that on was if this person runs, for the seat when it's back, it just kind of shows them what a typical
I guess what I'm saying is, you have to be a registered voter, and I would guess that most people that would apply would be, but do we ever go through that process of checking that out?
Verifying.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know that either. I don't think you have to be. Oh, you found, is it in there? In our
Yeah, a
policy?
registered voter in the,
Is it?
yeah, it is.
Okay.
You'd have to look at the qualifications in the,
In our board policy?
in is it BBC? I read it somewhere, but just, let's check that. Or I could look at that now.
Yeah, that'd be it. BBA.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's BBC.
Well, that's a qualification, right?
Be registered to vote in the county.
Good. Karen got that memorized.
Okay, so we'll need to ensure that we have the verification process, which I don't know if that's been verified in the past with a regular election.
Oh, somebody verified for me.
Well, it's interesting, Karen, that you mentioned that, because there is a contested race right now with a school district that it's this very point that's being contested as to when they filed, not obviously Northside, but when they filed, were they a registered voter at the time of that filing? So let us do a little bit of research on that.
Yeah, because I don't necessarily, I lose my voter's registration card. I vote with my ID card.
Yeah.
And so I have a hard time keeping up with that card.
Yeah, I would imagine we're gonna have to run through
But
the
I think-
Secretary of State office, but the Secretary of State's office, I'm assuming, but we need to verify how we would run those verifications.
Through Bear County?
Yeah, possibly. Okay, we'll check on that.
Good, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Trustee Lopez just pointed out, it's actually, and that has a reference, it's in the election code stating that, so it's not just illegal, yeah. Good, all right. Trustee Hall?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, going back to what you just have up there, Kelly, is it referred to in the application so they could see that there is policy around it? I mean, are we
Oh,
getting anything that we?
Carol.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. Could have used my recess voice. All those things that were listed there, or that policy, there's a couple there that I hadn't seen before. Should that be in there just to cover bases?
We have, similar to when we have elections, we have a packet planned for this too, that accompanies the form.
Okay,
That y'all can also decide what all you would like to have in there. But we include a lot of that information and a lot of board policies that are relevant to somebody serving. So all of that would be, it's a
Gotcha.
big stack.
okay, good. Thank you.
The way it's set up right now, the applicants would have 3 items that they need to actually do something with: the form, their resume, and the cover letter. But then all of these other items would be there for them to review with a lot of extra info. And some of it is more than what you all might even want this person to have right off the bat. Campaign finance reports, but those semi-annual reports are coming up in July. So even though they would be appointed, they would need to know about the requirements to have those filed. So there's just a lot of information that I would at least want access to if I were considering applying for such a role.
So are we gonna write something on the website, a disclaimer, if packets available for them to pick it up like they did for the general election?
So we'll have a link to the whole packet here that they
Okay.
can just print bits and pieces of it. We could have some printed, it's a big packet, but we could have some here for pickup too.
Okay. Any other, either comments, questions on the form itself? All right, everybody's good with that? Okay.
We'll update, also, I was just looking at the qualifications on the instructions, the applicant instructions, on that second page. We'll update that as well to include the election code and board policy, BBA.
And then you're saying the other parts of that's gonna be provided, we wanna go through that next? So
We can, like I say, we can spend a few minutes really discussing any aspect of this you would like. There will be, like I say, a packet of relevant or pertinent board policy. The C1 member district map, particularly outlining District 2. We'll have contact information if they have a question, how to reach out, and we'll be pretty responsive in regards to answering any questions they may have. But like I say, this is really just an opportunity for open dialogue. It's a lot of information that you probably have seen, and we tried to just really mirror image what it would look like for any applicant that would be interested in running for a seat during a regular election. So.
Trustee Harrell?
The only, I'm also thinking, one of the reasons why I wanted to go ahead and start this process is so that new person could be at SLI. And I'm wondering if there's just like a one-pager on SLI, and so they'll know that they'll get new board member training right off the bat in June. And it's here in town, something along those lines. Or maybe it's just a link to the SLI conference.
Yeah, well,
Some sort of
that's
explanation.
That's a great point. What we can also link is our operating procedures, norms, which has the training requirements in that appendix. And then we can even attach some SLI information. I know there's been some literature, just save the date type information as well.
And our
So we can
board
link it.
meetings, right? A list of the board meeting dates.
We can add a board meeting
Graduation dates, because we
calendar,
would
yeah.
hope that they would attend graduation.
Or at least they wouldn't plan a vacation or something, right? Until after that.
Calendar,
Maybe just a big
calendar. yeah.
bold disclaimer. Do you know what you're signing up for?
It is that page, right? Put that thing.
We can try to update the board calendar that we'll
Yeah.
bring next week and include that as mark the dates. So
Trustee Freeman?
I was going to suggest it, because in our board candidate training, we normally include, I know Monica's printed up, like, what we know so far, what the calendar is, so just some pages as to what to anticipate. And then I do have these TASB board candidate books I think would be helpful.
Okay. And Trustee Lopez?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Kelly, for putting all this together. I think it's important, kind of like our elections when we have all our candidates running for the open seats or seats that are being contested. So I really like all of this. It's really going to give them a lot of information. And I'm not sure if you had mentioned, Dr. Kraft, so somebody would be available for questions, right? Would that be Kelly, or could that be, okay, so Kelly, you'll be, it'll say contact, email. Okay, I just wasn't sure, I wasn't, okay, good. Is that your work?
The main line where I'm at NLC, because my direct extension, if I'm out at a meeting, I'm just worried about not getting that message quickly. So that would go to Vince, who picks up the phone, and he can text me if I'm here or somewhere else.
Okay, yeah,
And I think you have it after that list of things too. Yes.
okay, good, okay. Yeah, no, that's good.
and then if there are specific questions that for whatever reason Kelly can't answer, I'll
Somebody else,
reach out and
Okay.
respond.
Well, thank you, it was a great job. Good job on that, appreciate that, and the great, it's good to see that, so, thank you.
Now, there are two items we could take action on. One is to approve this packet, just so that we have that for the record. And the second one is going to be to approve use of the, what's it called officially?
The board,
The school board candidate?
Yeah, school board candidate, in particular to reimburse Karen for her cost for paying for those.
You got one when you were a board candidate? Sure. Here.
So, on any other comments or questions before we?
Cost to reimburse what?
Karen paid for those out of her own money.
It's, TASB prints those for districts to use to give to school board candidates. Most school boards invite the candidates to come and have a conversation like we do prior to the election, usually right after the filing date, so that candidates know what to anticipate. Believe it or not, there are some candidates that actually file that think that this is a paid position, and some people will withdraw right there because they find out that it's an entire, I mean, there's all kinds of questions that a candidate has.
I move that we reimburse Karen for buying those for the district.
Second.
All right, motion is second on that item. Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll move to second that reimburse Karen Freeman for the cost of the school board candidate board, what's officially called? Guide for school board candidates. I think. All those in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. Those opposed, state nay. Good, motion carries. Trustee Harrell?
Yeah, John, I think you, Dr. Kraft, I think you answered this, but is there like a one-pager? I was just asking Carla, the training requirements have been notched up. It does refer in a general sense that there's some requirements, but it is bumped up quite a bit. I'm wondering if that could be a separate link pulled out.
It should be in that book.
It's
I
not, it's not specific.
That's
in
real
that book.
general. I was kind of looking over Carla's shoulder.
No, we got
We
it.
have in the appendix of our board operating
Yeah.
procedures now, I
Put it
think it's
in there.
Appendix A, all of the requirements for returning trustees, but also new trustees to include the legislative update, Texas Education Code training, the new trainings with cybersecurity, child abuse, neglect.
Wow.
So it's
Okay.
pretty updated. So like I say, we'll link that and
Yeah, I just know
bring a note to it.
familiarity with other boards. This type of board is the only one I know of that has that much
Pretty intense.
training required. And so anyway, okay, great.
Yeah, we'll
thanks.
definitely highlight it. One of the other questions that I know we discussed last Tuesday, we'll obviously post this information upon approval if the board approves the application and instructions material to our main webpage, general webpage. But are there any other? I know we talked about campus web pages and it being a little bit tricky in the sense that we don't have necessarily pure feeders, especially as we get into elementary campuses, middle school campuses. But just thoughts on, do we want to try to link to campus web pages or just maintain district web page and then kind of a splash with our district social media outreach?
I think based on experience, let's just keep it high level because each campus updates that differently.
Right, and that's a great point. We can dictate where it lands on the web pages, but there are some, depending on which web page you navigate, i.e. a high school or an elementary, they're gonna look a little bit different.
Could we do a press release? I mean, where Barry just, or you.
We can do a press release,
Do something
absolutely.
that just kind of does it a blank announcement, hey, this is what we're doing, and we're encouraging our, the residents in that district or registered voters in that district.
Yeah, we can absolutely do a press release. Just the only difference between that and advertisement is whether they run it and when they run it and how they run it is,
Yeah.
really up to the
Yeah.
media group. But yeah, we can absolutely put a press release together.
And is there a cost with the press release?
No, it'd just be a district.
The advertisements might
Yeah,
cost.
but the advertisements would be in our website, so I don't think there'd be a cost
Yeah,
to
I think
that.
we can just reference in the press release for more information.
Yeah, reference our website.
NISD.net, and we'll put it on the main page.
Trustee Freeman?
The Express News, after that last board meeting, put it in the paper, that we would be seeking, nominations. And I believe they actually included the date. I think we had talked about it. I think the date was there at April the 3rd.
Okay.
So
sorry.
that's been in there at least once.
Do we have a motion to approve the package as presented?
With the modifications, the autofill, like I say, we'll clean up the qualifications for the instructions, and then we'll clarify the verification of voter registration on the application as well.
Okay.
I would move approval that we approve the application as discussed
Yep.
in the
Second.
packet.
Second?
All right, motion second. Any further discussion? All right, move to second that we approve the application as discussed. All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, state nay. Motion carries. Okay. So that takes care of the packet and that part. Is there anything further we need to discuss? Good, so, go ahead, trustee Harrell.
So Kelly, you sent out, I guess it was an email, not a Google Doc, but there was going to be a cover letter. And my only suggestion, and it's what I coach future teachers, is, make sure your why is in there. And so I don't know if, the rest of the board would want to know why they're seeking this position, but it makes for a nice cover letter. So I'd be really curious why you'd like to apply to be a trustee. So,
Okay.
why you want to be a teacher, why you want to be anything, right? Don't just,
So on the website, we would add a description maybe here, and then also on the instruction form, explaining.
I think where I've seen it, where it says, please include, like, on just other positions where where a cover letter is attached, it says, make sure, or please address why you are seeking this position, or, I mean, it's got a why frame to it, so whether it's a separate sentence or,
Include a reason why you're running for this office.
Yeah.
yeah,
Short and sweet.
yeah, just,
We just don't want them to you don't want to give them the idea that that's the only thing that we're asking for. So please include, I think would be okay, as long as it's clear that, I mean, they could put other things in the cover letter.
We'll work on the.
Yeah.
And as long as we know that this is because this is an appointment, because we don't have to do that when we're running for office. We don't have to give our why. We just run, and so we just need to remember that this is an appointment, and that could be why we're asking for it.
Typically, a cover letter is going to include an objective, so I think we can
Yeah.
word
also
it
include, yeah.
with objective and/or interest in Northside ISD. Yeah, we'll take care of the wording.
So are we adding that to what we just did, what we just approved? Because that should have been included before we approved it, right?
We're gonna add it as part of the applicant instructions to that number 3 with cover letter with clarification.
Do we need to redo it again? Bobby?
Well,
To
we
include-
said with amendments,
To be honest, I think we're
as
okay.
discussed.
I've got it.
I think we're okay on that one, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be included
Yeah.
unless there's any opposition.
Okay, good point there. Anything else? All right, there's nothing wrong with finishing early, so, yeah, we're gonna be seeing a lot of each other again, so, we'll go ahead, nothing further, and go ahead and adjourn our meeting at 6:29.